In Sex and the City, I think Charlotte needed better friends and friends who could emotionally support her more, but she also got in her own way of her emotions. And I just want to talk about that because I think it's a good case study for women who grow up not learning how to express themselves. Because I think she does articulate herself in a very just like easy to understand. Like, I feel like she's the type of person that can really get along with anyone. And I honestly, from Miranda, Samantha, and Carrie, I think they're all jealous of Charlotte. I think that, in my opinion, Samantha, she is jealous of Charlotte, but I actually think that they are the most alike, which maybe doesn't make sense at first when I say that Charlotte and Samantha are the most alike, but when you look at their personalities, they're very similar. They just want very different things in life. But anyway, I think, but versus Miranda and Carrie, I think Carrie is just a jealous person, a jealous friend. She sees people who have things that she wants, and instead of being like, how could I get that for myself, she just is like, woe is me, and kind of just sits in this perpetual victim complex. And I don't think that Miranda starts out as a jealous person, but I think eventually she becomes a jealous person and a jealous friend, partly because she's friends with Carrie, and then also partly because she just doesn't hold boundaries in her life, in her relationships, and that includes her friends. Especially Carrie, who, as the relationship progresses, it kind of goes into like Miranda being a parent figure almost, and then Carrie being like a youngest child and she's the oldest daughter kind of thing. I saw Cecilia Regina say that, and that made something click for me because I feel like that is very accurate for their dynamic in the show, because Miranda is like the emotional like buffer for Carrie a bit with all of Carrie's problems. Carrie, like, immediately when she has a problem, she's gonna call someone to talk about it instead of trying to process it on her own first. Some people are just like that. They want to call and talk right away, but you have to find a balance, especially too because the people around you aren't always going to have the capacity to help you regulate or to listen. So it's just good for yourself too to have those skills to regulate on your own. And you don't really ever see Carrie develop these. And then it affects her relationship with Big, because whenever she's with him, she's expecting him to give her the same emotional input, I feel like, as Miranda. And she just continually gets disappointed because he's not acting the way that she wants him to. She has these expectations, and then she just keeps getting let down over and over. But I don't know if expectations is the right word, because I feel like eventually she realizes he's never going to like live up to exactly what she wants with him, and then that's when they get married, because she just kind of accepts that she's gonna kind of just feel like a placeholder. She's just there because she was the last pick or the only one who would honestly like deal with him and his bullshit. Because even though he married Natasha very much quicker and took her more seriously, that doesn't necessarily mean that he treated her better or gave Natasha more like emotional like support or input. I doubt that he did. He didn't. He seemed like a very one-dimensional, just like tall finance bro, like frat guy, honestly. He really gave frat energy to me, the way he talked to Carrie in the car, jokingly calling her pro. But anyway, I want to show clips from the show where Charlotte is talking to people that are not her friends about serious emotional things that are happening in her life. And like this one in particular I'm about to show, this is when she's struggling with her fertility and she's trying to have a kid and it's not going well. And everything just kind of builds up and she goes on a run, which is something you see her do. Every time she gets upset, she goes and she works out, because that's growing up. Her parents were like, channel that frustration or like bad mood basically into sports, which physical activity actually like psychologically for getting out bad emotions. But she never learned how to talk about her feelings with her parents, or it seems like her, I think, older brother, could be younger, but that it also seemed like he didn't know how to communicate well, because he and his wife, they weren't being sexually intimate after a while, and that usually also indicates that there's not emotional communication in the relationship.
None of my eggs were viable.
Oh, baby.
Again.
Okay?
Yeah. I'm gonna go for a run.
In high school, Charlotte was voted most popular, head of the track team, and class president. She had won everything. Except the baby race.
Doing some research.
On what?
Adoption.
Oh.
It could be just a backup, you know? Maybe we put ourselves on some lists. By the time we know what's what, we'll have some choices. What do you think?
That seems like the right thing to do. Hi, Trudy.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Dandy Rich. Hi. I brought you a present. Is turkey bacon, is that all right?
Oh, sure. She's not a show dog.
You know, just because somebody doesn't perform the way that you want them to doesn't mean that you should just give up on them. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I swore I wouldn't cry. I'm trying to have a baby and it's just not going very well.
That day, thanks to a dog with one short leg, Charlotte stopped denying.
Okay, and then Charlotte in the series becomes friends with someone named Anthony, who is her wedding like decorator and kind of like organizer. And actually Cecilia Regina has a really good video on that. It's like Charlotte needed better friends, or like Charlotte needed to outsource her friends. It's in her Sex and the City playlist.
Person have really hot sex with someone they don't even like.
You're spelling sex in a place with a go-go boy on the bar?
I'm serious.
Why? Oh my God, Sean. You?
I don't know what happened. He's my divorce lawyer and I don't even like him.
So, some of the best sex I've had is with people I can't stand. Details. This is so exciting.
Well, he was showing me this Bachelor apartment and I think it was all the leather and music.
Leather, I get it. Go.
Suddenly, out of nowhere, we were kissing and then...
And because of how the show is written, she's not gonna cut off her friends, but I feel like in real life she honestly would, because they're just not super emotionally supportive of her. Because every time, if you notice, like she's had something good in her life happen, they don't react with a lot of joy or like happiness for her the way that Anthony does, even though it was like just like a short reaction from him. He has a lot more emotion in his reaction than the girls did when she told them about Harry. And whether or not it was a good thing that they got together is up for debate. But I think Anthony ended up being the best friend out of all of them, honestly.